Now, we've had the Me Too movement. It's time now for the Wii Too movement. That's being talked about in France, isn't it, in the newspapers today, Dipti?
That's right. It was launched by two prominent male French celebrities, journalist Raphael Glucksmann and the French director Michel Hazanavicius. They've penned an article in a French literary magazine explaining that their movement has been inspired by the Me Too movement. They say, I quote, "The issue of men's freedoms to flirt or seduce came into question, and that's why they've launched this movement to express their solidarity, first and foremost, with women who've experienced sexual abuse, harassment, or rape, and to say that they themselves don't want these freedoms if it puts women in a position of subordination. I quote, "We also want equality, which is the only thing that will render us men or women truly free."
Staying on a similar topic, one of Emmanuel Macron's ministers facing calls to step down. This is over a sex scandal, isn't it?
That's right, a sex scandal engulfing Macron's government now. That man is Budget Minister Gérald Darmanin. He's a rising young star in Macron's cabinet. And now an online petition has been launched by a feminist group calling for his resignation. This after a weekend report by Le Monde newspaper revealing that Paris's prosecutor's office is reopening an investigation into allegations dating back to 2009 that Darmanin pressured a woman into having sex in exchange for a legal favor. Prime Minister Edouard Philippe has said that the government is standing by Darmanin, saying that he's been totally transparent in what happened during those incidents back in 2009. And Darmanin says he's actually filing a counter lawsuit for slander. Macron's party, for its part, has defended itself, saying the incidents concerning Darmanin are as a private citizen and not while he was in public office, like, I quote, "it was a case for others," obviously a reference to François Fillon, so trying to sort of shift the discourse.
Now, if you follow Dipti's press reviews daily, you'll know that over the last couple of weeks you've been talking about the prison strikes here in France. Well, today, employees at nursing homes are going on strike in France.
That's right. Discontent everywhere, it appears, in France. The nursing home staff are going on strike to protest their working conditions and a lack of resources and poor infrastructure in caring for the elderly. That's resulted in staff who are essentially at their wits' end. That's what La Croix, the Catholic paper, says on its front page. The website L'Obs has actually put together some rather harrowing experiences of personnel, because they've been basically sharing their experiences via a Twitter hashtag. Now, we're talking about, for instance, patients taking a shower once a fortnight because there are not enough staff to help them take a shower daily. Yeah. There are meals given in 10 minutes. Or one staff member says she hid in the bathroom and cried at her workload and at the fact that she just wasn't able to take care of the patients the way she wanted. Now, it's worth noting that the nursing home system in France is becoming a little bit more, or at least more and more like the system in the Anglo world. Basically, it's more and more privatized, which means that patient healthcare is being sacrificed essentially at the cost of big profit.
Now we're going to talk about another harrowing story now. This is the French climate in the Himalayas had to make this heart-wrenching decision. The papers are still talking about this, aren't they?
That's right. Libération calls it a nightmare at 8,000 meters altitude and a Himalayan tragedy. Mountain rescuers climbed more than one... It's an incredible story, actually. Mountain rescuers climbed more than 1,000 meters up Nanga Parbat, the 9th highest mountain in the world, in pitch-black darkness to reach Elisabeth Revol, the French mountaineer. She'd been scaling those treacherous slopes with her mountain partner, the Polishman Tomasz Makiewicz. Now, unfortunately, Revol and the rescuers had to make that heartbreaking decision to leave him behind because he developed frostbite. He was in a really bad way, and there was nothing anybody could do for him. And all of this was incredibly paid for through a crowd-funded campaign because the rescuers had to take a helicopter to reach her. Libé says in its editorial today, it's a price we pay for a dream, the idea of a dream that feeds the base needs of humanity.
Yeah, very sad story. Let's talk about something a bit lighter now. Special guest interviewed by France 24's sports team. This is the footballer Didier Drogba.
That's right. The footballer stopped by our studios yesterday to talk about a lot of things. Actually, Didier Drogba is nearly 40. He's still playing football, though. He's playing for a second division league in the U.S. And in this interview, he talks to France 24 about his own career, his hopes for his native Ivory Coast's football team. He also talks politics because, of course, Drogba is very much involved in developing education for kids in his native Ivory Coast. And of course, he talks about his fellow footballer, George Weah's recent ascension to president of Liberia.
Good to see him doing good as he carries on. Now, finally, then, a story about a globe-trotting elephant.
That's right. Maybe we might say it's a border-crossing elephant, actually. It's not so much globe-trotting, but it's still extraordinary. This one is from the street paper 20 Minutes, which reports that a wild elephant was filmed this weekend leaving the Yunnan province in southeastern China and ended up crossing the border into Laos.
No passport?
No passport, okay. No visa, no documents. Basically, the pictures that were captured on the video surveillance camera at the border post showed the elephant literally walking over the security barrier into Laos before the guards started to chase it. I don't know how many guards you'd need to chase an elephant, a wild one. It appears the elephant was looking for food. It did end up crossing back into China, again, just walking over the security barriers. If only it were that easy.
Welcome back to the elephant. Thank you.